Hi, I'm Hazel. This week, I was fortunate enough to be invited to the BfA Media Day hosted by Blizzard. Today, I'm going to go over the 7 things that I learned there that were brand new and surprising to me in no particular order. The first thing that you almost certainly already know is the release date. At the event, and then today on Thursday the 5th on Battle.net launchers and Twitter feeds everywhere, Blizzard finally confirmed the official Battle for Azeroth release date on August the 14th of this year, so it's 4 months away. You have 4 months to finish any Mage Tower challenges. Actually, possibly less than that because there's going to be a pre-patch. You better get on that Mage Tower challenge that you have been putting off because you are running out of time. The next thing was some details about the physical Battle for Azeroth Collector's Edition. So the set looks like this. It will not include a dedicated art book, but instead it will include this novella with 2 short stories printed on each side of the page, I'm assuming. So you read it one way, and it's the Horde account of the Burning of Teldrassil, and you read it the other way, and it's the Alliance account of the Burning of Teldrassil. So you get the same story from 2 perspectives depending on which way you decide to read the book. The stories will be posted for free online, but if you want the hardcover novella, then you're going to have to get the collector's edition. It also includes this roughly 1 pound Horde/Alliance emblem. So it's double-sided. It's Alliance on one side, it's Horde on the other side. Emblem/giant coin, I think is the best way to describe this. It's basically a thing, but it's a really cool looking thing. Of course, the soundtrack and the in-game goodies like normal. And then there was some news that came out regarding upgrading if you have already purchased a digital edition of BfA, whether the regular or the digital deluxe, which most people do because, you know, it gets you a boost and it gets you the digital stuff like right now. So this time around, if you do that and then you want to purchase the collector's edition, what they'll do is in that collector's edition, there's a code. You apply that code to your Battle.net account, and when you apply the code to an account that already has the game, whatever you paid for the game originally, either the price of the regular or the price that you pay for the digital deluxe edition, whatever you paid for that will be refunded to you as Battle.net balance credit. So important to note, this is not a cash refund. This is not a credit card refund. You don't get it back on your original payment method, and you cannot use Battle.net balance to purchase physical goods or basically anything from the Blizzard gear store. What you can do with it is buy digital stuff from Blizzard. So WoW Game Time, Overwatch loot boxes, Heroes loot boxes, Hearthstone card packs, games, you know, if you don't have Overwatch yet, you can use it for that kind of thing. WoW shop mounts, WoW pets, those weird helmet thingies that I've never seen anybody wear, you know, all of that stuff can be bought with Blizzard Balance, and generally speaking, this is a huge upgrade over how they used to do it. Now that I think of it, I don't actually remember how they used to do it, but I do know that I looked at how it was done, and I was like, that's not worth it, and then I just never bought the collector's edition. So this is actually going to be the first time since MOP that I'm getting a collector's edition, because I don't have to be out the $80 that I paid for the digital deluxe, and I'm not about the waiting life. So if you've been waiting to pre-order BfA because you're waiting for the collector's edition, this is really good news. The next big news shocker was that the allied races available at BfA Launch on August 14th are going to be Dark Iron Dwarves and Mag'har Orcs. The Zandalari Trolls will not be available at BfA Launch. They're going to come later, along with the Cult Around Humans, at a later time or possibly even a later patch. That seems like a really likely thing for 8.1. So if you have been waiting for Battle for Azeroth to unlock Zandalari Trolls, this is not your favorite day. That one really surprised me because Zandalari was one of the races that they confirmed at the BlizzCon announcement, whereas Mag'har they've only been data mined. Like, I think this is our official confirmation of Mag'har Orcs, but I guess that's the way it goes, and it makes sense with the story. It would be a little bit weird if you show up on Zandalar and day 1 you're able to just do all of this stuff and then unlock your Zandalari Troll, and then, you know, if you're planning on raiding on your Zandalari Troll, you have to then, and you want Heritage Armor, you know, that's just a really intense launch week grind. So yeah, Zandalari not available at launch, but Mag'har Orcs, the brown orcs, should be, so I mean, that's a thing. The next thing that was new to me was changes to the PvP honor talent system and the way that you get PvP gear. So in BfA, Prestige is kind of gone. You're still going to grind out honor levels. Those honor levels will no longer grant you honor talents. Honor talents are now granted when you level up normally, so at 120 you will have all of your honor talents at the start. So instead, honor levels are going to work a lot like account levels in Overwatch. So they are account-wide, they are essentially endless, and it's only cosmetic rewards tied to those. You will not get gear through your honor levels. As far as getting gear, conquest points are coming back, kind of. So in BfA, if you want PvP gear, every week you will be asked to earn a certain amount of conquest points. And then when you've earned those amount of conquest points for the week, you get a piece of gear, and that is a predetermined piece of gear of a specific item level and I think a specific gear slot. And there's basically a progression of those. So every week that you do it, the following week you'll get another thing, and then another thing, and another thing, and that's a set progression. It's not random. You're not trying to get your set through random loot boxes. There is still going to be a random loot box mechanic. It's not entirely clear to me how that's going to be implemented, but it will have something to do with how gladiator tier players, or basically just top tier PvP players, will be able to skip ahead of that leveling system to get other pieces of gear. It's implied that there will be strong boxes, at least at high ratings, that can give you higher item level gear earlier without you having to collect the entire base set through this weekly conquest point capping system. So basically, it's similar to how the 2s and 3s caps work now, except that it's just one cap, and instead of getting a random piece, you get a predetermined piece. When you have collected all pieces of the basic set, you can then start over again getting a higher item level version of that set, is the way that I understand it. We might see some changes. All of this is just from things that the dev said with words. We have not seen any UI or examples of this yet, so I might be misinterpreting it, but basically that's more or less how it's going to go down. The next topic of new info that we got was more details about how Warfronts work. So Warfronts, not to be confused with island expeditions, are a new type of instanced content. They include many more players. They are intended to be roughly like a 40 to 50 minute time investment, like a significant time investment. If an island expedition is kind of like your 20-minute thing, then a Warfront is your, you've got more time and you're ready to sit down and do it. Warfronts will take place in a given zone, and Horde and Alliance will basically swap between control of that zone throughout the expansion. So let's say that the Warfront is in a Arathi Basin and the Horde has control over it. That means that the Horde will have access to content out there. So for example, extra world quests, extra world bosses, that sort of thing. While the Horde has control over it, the Alliance is stockpiling resources to assault that Warfront. So as an Alliance player, you can collect and turn in things like trade mats to build up your faction's war effort against that Warfront. After a 5 to 7-ish day period of Horde having controlled it, Alliance will have enough resources to then assault that Warfront and be able to do the actual Warfront content in addition to the outdoor content in that zone. And once Alliance has started taking control over it, the Horde can then start stockpiling resources, and it should flip back and forth roughly every week or so. So in the actual Warfront scenario, there's going to be a whole bunch of people. There's going to be RTS elements such as building buildings and buffing NPCs that are on your side that are kind of streaming towards the enemy, but on a massively multiplayer scale, WoW is an MMO. So instead of you choosing which building that you want to build, you'll be able to contribute resources within the Warfront instance towards building like a barracks or another thing, and there's going to be some kind of tech tree involved. Again, we don't have any gameplay of this yet, but it sounds like a very cool brand new feature, and I'm real excited. The next topic is not so much something that we learned, but something that we conspicuously didn't learn, but got some surrounding info on. My impression is that the races that we've already seen, so Kulturan, Mag'har, Zandalari, and then of course Dark Iron Dwarves, those are the ones that are being worked on to definitely ship, but they're open to the idea of doing new allied races as they make sense. And they're more open-minded about what's possible than I thought. So some factors that influence how likely a potential allied race is to become an actual allied race include community interest. If there's something that a lot of people really want, it's something that the team is going to take into account. If they have any existing animation rigs for it, that's kind of a big bonus because that saves a lot of time in putting them together. And then another thing that's really important is making sure that it fits into the story that they're telling at that given time. So those are some factors, and I'm sure there's plenty more that bring a race into consideration for being an allied race, but something that was really interesting to me is I don't think anything's off the table. From the conversations that I had, there isn't really any disqualifying characteristic that puts something completely off the table, like something that I specifically asked over dinner, mind you, but I asked if number of legs, if having less or more than 2 is going to be a problem, and I didn't really get the feeling like that's a big veto, so maybe there is still hope for my Dryad/Centaur allied race potential one day, maybe. Oh man, I want it. My impression regarding Vulpera specifically, I did hear them say that they recognize that there's room for another cute race, so I don't think Vulpera are off the table, but I also didn't really get the feeling that they're currently planned right now unless they're very good at being sneaky, which is possible. The next thing that surprised me, and this one was caught on camera, is that there are going to be new pet charms in BfA. And my first question immediately was, does this invalidate our old ones? Because I, like many of you, have been stockpiling pet charms. And this is all in my interview, which you can check out, I'll link in the description, but they basically said that no, the old pet charms are still going to be able to purchase the things that they currently are, so ultimate battle training stones and the quality upgrade stones are probably still on the table for those existing ones, but there will be new pet charms for new rewards, so you don't need to hoard old pet charms in hopes that they make a a black pet mirror that is like a Black Mirror reference, if they do that, it will be for new pet charms. So there's no real harm now, extrapolating, but there's no real harm now in using any stockpiled pet charms to stockpile now ultimate battle training stones and then quality upgrade stones, because those are going to be universally useful with the new pets that we get in BfA. It doesn't sound like they're going to be unavailable to purchase in BfA, but it also sounded like those things are a little bit up in the air, so it doesn't really hurt. But this is one thing that I should say, it's not going to surprise you. It's highly unlikely that you wake up to a patch where your 6,000 pet charms are no longer good for upgrade stones, If it does go that way, it's going to show up on the alpha. You're going to have some warning. Nobody's trying to actively ruin your pet life. Other pet battle news, and I swear I didn't plan having my cat up here for this section, she's just got really good timing. Pet dungeons are confirmed for BfA, but not for BfA Launch. They're not planning on any for 8.0, but for later patches, definitely on the table, if not being worked on. New pet battle mechanics are coming, so types of things that pet abilities can do. No info on exactly what those are yet, but I'm sure that we'll see that on alpha at some point in the near to medium future, because BfA is coming out in August. This stuff has to come out eventually. And they also said that the new pet tech that was kind of developed for the Una quest line that allows them to permanently upgrade the appearance of a battle pet based on things that your character's achieved opens some really fascinating potential doors for new pet content going forward. Again, nothing specifically planned for that for 8.0, but just some really cool possibilities there. And that's what was new to me. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that if you want all of the nitty-gritty details of everything that came out of this media day, of which there was a lot, to check out the roundups on MMO Champion or Wowhead. I have my interview with Jeremy Fiesel and Frank Kolakowski up on my YouTube channel to watch now. And then I recorded a really silly little travel vlog, which is basically just my thoughts on the trip as it was happening from my hotel room. And I'm going to be putting that out on Saturday. So stick around, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye. Kitty, say bye. Bye. Bye.